This is a bloody expensive television at $8,000 or 14,000 Singapore dollars. But my god, is it impressive. Hey guys, we have the Samsung QN900B Neo QLED 8K 2022 TV with us today, and if you have the money to buy this, well, it's probably one of the best in its class that you can get right now. We have the 75-inch model, and it's actually a little too big for our TV stand. If you're planning on wall mounting it though, it would be perfect. If you want to use the included stand, Samsung's One Connect box can actually be mounted on the back of the stand, which is a sleek, space-saving option. As for I/O ports on the box, you get 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, which all support 4K 120Hz. So, if you are lucky enough to have a PS5, Xbox Series X, and 2 more devices that can fully support and utilize 4K 120, well, there's more than enough space. There are also USB 2.0 ports, Ethernet, optical digital out, coax, and more. As for the display itself, it's gorgeous. The bezels are incredibly thin and unobtrusive, and the TV itself is very slim. There are speaker grills around the top and sides of the TV, allowing for a 6.2.4 channel setup which supports Dolby Atmos with up-firing speakers. The speakers are honestly quite good, but the Q Symphony feature that Samsung offers with compatible soundbars honestly brings it to a whole new level. Check out our review of this soundbar in tandem with the TV up here. Needless to say, you won't have to buy a separate soundbar if you don't want to, but it definitely elevates the experience. The TV also comes with Samsung's solar rechargeable remote, which is excellent and saves you from having to purchase batteries. There's also a USB-C port on the bottom that you can use to charge the remote if there's not enough light. You get dedicated Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and browser app buttons, which is nice and directly brings you to your streaming platform of choice. As for the UI, it's alright. I'm personally not a big fan that all of the apps are organized in a single row, which means that if you want to go, use an app, Apple TV for instance, you have to click through all the way. And it's worse if you download more and more apps, of course. That being said, you can edit the list and you can move different apps forward. So if you use Apple Music a lot, like me for instance, I've moved it all the way to the front so that when I turn on the TV, it's really accessible. There's also a settings shortcut button on the remote that pulls up a small bar at the bottom to adjust settings quickly on the fly. And that's fine, but for more granular adjustments, you'll have to open the advanced settings. But let's talk about video. This is an 8K TV, and you might be thinking, there's so little 8K content out on the market right now, so what's the point of splurging or spending so much on an 8K TV? That's true, but keep in mind that there is always AI upscaling, and this TV upscales 4K content really well. Some content, like really old animation, think standard definition 4:3 aspect ratio isn't quite as nice, but I think the QN900B does its best considering the source. When you get to older 1080p movies, it's very obvious it's 1080p, and it doesn't really look that good on the TV. But more recent movies in 4K look absolutely fantastic thanks to the upscaling, as do newer anime like Demon Slayer. The TV is super sharp, and because it's so sharp, something that we noticed is that it's actually quite obvious when the shot isn't in focus in movies and in shows. There's a scene in episode 1 of The Witcher on Netflix where Geralt and Stregobor are speaking in his illusion tower, and the camera cuts between the two of them often. Geralt is always in focus and pin sharp. You can see the lines on his face, the stubble. But sometimes, Stregobor is slightly out of focus and the overall image is a bit soft. It's honestly quite distracting if you're paying very close attention. But at this point, we're really just nitpicking, and besides, it's not a bad point against the TV itself. The TV will just make flaws in the cinematography a bit more obvious. Sometimes I do feel that the sharpness is a bit too artificial though, and I do know people who stick to older 4K or even 1080p TVs because it looks more realistic to them. To each their own here though. There are a few video modes to choose from: standard, natural, dynamic, movie, and filmmaker. But my personal favorite was dynamic. It brightened the image, increased the vibrancy and color, sharpened, and it was just the nicest visually. It also helped to remove the stuttering frames from fast scenes a little bit. We set the remove judder option to around 3, and that was the ideal for us to sort of remove a bit of juddering while not taking it overboard. There was a scene in episode 1 of The Witcher though, the battle between Nilfgaard and Sintra, where the cavalry were rushing in, and there was an odd juddering effect on the right hand side of the screen. We tinkered around and found that it was present when remove judder was on, but when we turned off remove judder, it disappeared. It's certainly a bit of an odd incident, and even the Samsung folks couldn't give us an answer as to why it was happening, but there's nothing much to be done here. You just have to put up with these sort of incidents once in a while. Gaming on the QN900B is amazing though. We have an Xbox Series X hooked up to the TV, and playing games that support 4K 120Hz is amazing. It's buttery smooth and incredibly sharp. We tested out a variety of games: Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and more, and the TV performed superbly across all of them. Panning the camera in Halo Infinite is smooth, and you can immediately tell that it's 120Hz. There's also a game mode for the TV, which allows you to see the current frame rate and such, so that's nice. The Samsung QN900B is an excellent choice if you have the money, especially if you are playing plenty of 4K 120Hz games or watching 4K or 8K content. If you're not though, an 8K TV might be a bit of an overkill, especially when you consider the hefty price tag. Anyway, those are our thoughts on the Samsung QN900B TV. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to subscribe to us and like this video. Till the next one, see you guys!